And welcome back. Last we left off, our party had encountered a war party from the same Tabaxi tribe as their guide. A fortuitous event, as as it would be, as two members of the group had of this group had spotted a group of individuals. There's a lot of groups involved, wearing the same armor as Balgoris some days prior, and offered to take him to that location. Unfortunately, Balgoris, as it turns out, is not agile enough to keep up with a pair of Tabaxi scouts and managed to get completely lost before wandering back to the camp. Yes, we're going with that canon, even though he's not here. With that said, however, you parted ways with the Free Waters tribe and continued along the road to the south, eventually emerging from the jungle and seeing a great city raid before you. Let's actually go there. The Twin Cities, as they're commonly own the upper city of, and yes, I'm going to say this, Teoquitlat Oyel Tepetle, and I fuck it up every time. First, which does mean something in a hodl, but it's bastardized. First inhabited in the early years of the Second Era, built on an even older settlement that originated pre-collapse. It grew rapidly into the largest inhabited city on the island. The lower city of Durnhold was founded in the summer of the year 736 of the Second Era by the exiled Duergar of northeastern Dolos. A paltry 3,200 survivors of those ancient cities that once were home to over a million fled here from the crusading elven empire that has quite genocidal tendencies even to the present day, as it is currently crusading in western Dolos. From here, though, you can only.
Yay.
Yeah, it's not great. From here, well, on that topic, from here, though, you can only see the upper city. It sprawls along the raised area at the base of the volcano. To its west, but like the west side, the volcano's to its west. Sorry, I wrote this weeks ago and I've already lost my track. But spills out onto islands, most seemingly artificially made. Which basically form the outermost reaches of the city. There are also islands on the opposite side of the river. Those all seem to be used for agriculture. Uh, da, 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 da. The skyline is dominated by three massive pyramids, all smaller than the truly monumental ones you had seen in the dead city you passed through, but the largest here easily dwarfs the one you had stayed atop in that city. It seems these people are still capable of some pretty impressive feats of architecture, though you don't really know how old these particular temples are. The city is alive with activity, with the local tabaxi far better adapted to the environs than the more imported populace of the other islands. Do not pause their activities for the hottest part of the day. Something, something about the skyline before you is obviously different, however, potentially wrong. While many of the islands house docks and with ships of all kinds, one boasts the largest ship any of you have ever seen, which no prizes for finding that on a map. Easily 400 feet long and nearly 150 feet in beam, this oddly round-looking vessel. Ghost, Rocks, why are you pinging a tree branch?
Just fucking with you. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to distract you.
I was looking right there, because that's where my fucking text is. It was just right off to the side. Um, it is a titanic vessel with over a dozen masts. However, it sits idle, docked in the very southernmost end of the port. Around it is a cluster of smaller but similarly styled vessels, which all sit quayside. Behind those ships, however, you see a vast tent city. Even from here, it's easy to spot the fences that surround it. And for one of your party, Roxby, these ships are very familiar. They're the same sorts that are common in Dolos. And those particularly large trade junks, as they're called, are very rare
Very
indeed.
rare indeed. Do I see comfort in them or?
It is not the sort of thing you would expect to see here in bulk. Who am I hearing myself through?
It might be me. I have to put on my headphones.
Okay, apologies. But thank you. Yeah, it's normally, yes, it would be a sign of home, though your city, your town, in fact, is not naval or maritime in any context. You're far inland. But they are ships you had seen before, and you traveled on a similar one to reach these isles not that long ago, a couple months back now. These, however, all look to be in pretty rough shape. Even from here, you can see that the sails are torn and tattered. The actual hulls themselves appear to be worn out, warped, twisted. Some of them are listing, even sitting quayside. These all appear to be old, battered, and second-rate ships, likely the best that could be found. And when they're currently moored, isolated from the rest of the city, alongside a refugee camp, it doesn't necessarily give you a lot of confidence.
Yeah, the more you were describing the area and the ship condition, the more I was like, these are likely refugees from
And
everything that's happened.
also a plague. Freedom.
Yes, well, canonically, we haven't gotten to that point yet, but there is.
I thought we did get to that. But we
We
did.
did.
You mentioned it last time.
We backed up and then we went forward
Yeah, it
again.
got mentioned.
Yeah, so suffice to say, you've gone to the city, and Ink has departed your group for the time being. He is going to try and locate his parents, who are, according to him, deeper into the city. And you've been left to your own devices. We'll say, do we have an icon for the party? Let's keep our
Good
tradition alive.
viewers.
Your tour guide.
Spiritual weapon, yeah. If you'd like to find a tour guide, I'm sure you could. For now, the city, let me get some better ambience than this random jungle. Here, let's go this one. Yeah. The city is bustling with activity, even now in this late morning, early afternoon, high heat of the day. There is quite a bit of activity. Though it is significantly cooler here than it was deep in the jungle. The humidity is a little bit less, it's not quite as blocked in, and while the sun shines hard, it's a partly cloudy day, which provides some relief. And a nice cool breeze blows from the north over the large lake that this city is basically right at the base of, alongside a river that you know goes out to sea. Well, obviously, because there's ships here.
Mhm.
You cross over a large stone bridge, one of the few actual stone structures that you see. Most of the buildings here are actually made of mud brick or wood. Very few of them actually have a stone structure. And while I've paved the roads in this city model, it was mostly out of color coordination. The roads themselves are cobblestone in some areas, but mostly just gravel.
Or maybe mud and gravel.
It's
Rudimentary.
Just in this lower section of the city,
yeah, you're in the so there's the upper city and the lower
beyond the
city.
wall.
So yeah,
I
so to
imagine I
summarize,
see the wall.
you have the upper city, the lower city, and the outer city. The outer city is everything beyond the wall, everything to the
Okay.
north of it. The upper city is everything within the wall, and then the lower city is on the right-hand side of the panel, which is the actual dwarven city, which is within the mountain.
Okay.
Which that
I
obviously
am Dwarf and Diggy Hole.
yes, which is in a volcano, and it is basically an inverted cone just going deeper.
I mean, makes sense. Dwarves would be in a fucking hole if they can help it.
Yep. The Tabaxi generally live on the surface, though walking around you do see that this city is, unlike Gerdon, which is very cosmopolitan, where you see a lot of humans, a lot of elves, a lot of dwarves, a lot of local Tabaxi and other groups moving through. Here it's a little bit more delineated. Most of the population you see as you walk through the city are either Tabaxi or Leonin or some mix between. They are the same species after all, just kind of different breeds, so to speak, though that's not a great term to apply to humanoids. You also do see humans, a couple of elves here and there, the odd Dwergar, or in fact, a significant portion of them, as the dark-skinned dwarves were the ones who originally founded this colony, at least the dwarven part of it. Interestingly, while the humans and the elves seem to be dressed more like the local tabaxi, with looser garments better fit for the climate, the dwarves are all covered effectively head to toe. The women, in fact, wearing veils, not quite like a burqa, but covering most of their skin, which you suspect is probably not the most well acclimated to sunlight. For those of you who have experience with Dwergal, you'll know that is definitely the case.
Mhm.
But
You
here,
would
yes,
think they're
the city-
vampires.
yeah. Parasols also seem to be very popular with the Dwergar, men and women alike.
There's no more vampires. We could not handle it.
Okay.
Well, him there are forced to. We only have one. He's more of a deputy.
Trying to see. Okay, so we're here.
Honestly, having him wait, is he with us right now?
Canonically, yes.
Okay.
So he'd say something like blah blah blah. I am not the vampire.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
like
Exactly.
it's the adult voice from the PS, just wah, 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 wah.
Yeah. As
Well,
long as you keep your appetites in check, we're fine, I guess.
There's probably some good beat houses here. This place seems pretty bustling.
It is, and that's one thing you notice about the city is it is very active. You get the idea that this is a very dense city. While it is smaller than Gerdon in total area, the population is pretty similar. Gerdon, if you recall, has about 20,000 people. This city, too, has about 20,000. However, only about 12,700. Well, it says it at the top. Actually, it says it in the top left how many people live here.
Yeah, it's like 60% of the city lives up above the ground.
Yeah, 65, 70, 60. Most.
There's a building, probably they built tall.
It is interesting. Many of the structures here,
Well, it
especially in
does
the
look
lower
like they built
city,
like straight into the volcano.
well, they built
I
up
wonder,
the
I wonder what it's like down there.
I should put like a big thing so you can't see in there yet because you haven't been
Yeah,
there.
I'm covering it up with my character sheet. Don't worry, it's surprises. Track my whole character sheet over it.
Yeah. But yes, as it would seem, the city is active, buzzing with activity. The area you are in now appears to be mostly residential, and you're at kind of the northern extent of the actual port. The port is relatively small compared to Gerdon. This is not a trade city, though it does have trade going in and out. Interestingly, though, the port is completely dead. There are people milling about on the ships and on the shore, and there are guards posted, but nobody is loading or unloading cargo or passengers.
Wonder what's up with that.
Looks like there might be some commotion. You would think all these ports would be a lot of places to trade. I was hoping I could restock some of my ointment. Pay is beginning to me, you know.
There
She
are
said there were
workers.
guards. He said there were guards posted.
Yeah, there seems so the actual guards of the city. It's interesting because ever since you came here, you've been hearing occasionally like a distant screeching sound, and it's only in the next minute or so that you actually
God.
realize why. As you see a wyvern, rider astride it, come swooping down and actually land not that far from you, maybe like 70, 80 feet away by the harbor, and a person on board it dismounts and talks to another person, another one of the guards on the ground before getting back on and flying away again.
Did he
The
look
guard
like?
Can ride
Did he
those?
look? Does he look any like special regal or something, or is it just
There
like
is
slightly more plumage?
definitively some ornamentation to that individual's uniform. They're actually
Do I
like feathers
recognize
kind of
it?
running along its back, the uniform. You would
Huh.
not recognize them. The guards themselves are wearing more or less similar garb to what you'd see. However, notably, the Tabaxi guards don't seem to wear any helmets. When they do, it's actually a very tight fitting, like almost like metal faceplate that kind of hugs the head very closely, and it seems to be only worn by those of higher rank. The actual rank and file guards, meanwhile, are armed with spears and short swords by the looks of it, and wear effectively mail shirts, but very little actual. There's no padding. There's very little actual armor. It seems that, and those of you wearing heavy armor can absolutely feel why that might be the case in such a city. It is a very hot climate. But yes,
I
Oh, this
love
feels
being
perfect for
green
me.
and sweaty.
yeah.
I'm a dragonborn. I don't sweat.
I was going to say, dude.
You
Don't-
pant, yes.
I know it's warm, but like,
Big panty like a
you guys
dog.
okay?
You haven't stopped panting since we walked into the city. You need some water?
I'm golden. I'm fine. Extreme cold and extreme heat. I love it.
Oh, you must be right at home. Although I
Is
worry
those
about
dwarves
our
okay?
sanguine friend here.
Yes, probably not doing as well.
He looks
He's probably
uncomfortable, but no more so than usual. Bulgor seems to have a perpetually perturbed and overheated
Yeah.
expression to him.
he looks. He's constantly.
He just always looks like he's not having a great time, and it's hard to discern if it's any worse than usual.
He's always in a sweat, trying to like, oh, should I eat that? Should I eat that?
Yeah, he breathes heavily a lot of the time, like panting.
He goes up to an individual, goes
QS
up to somebody. He just has like.
You also
this
see as you're
terrifying
walking down
aura.
the street, he seems to be hanging out in the shade more. He's kind of off to the side in the eaves of the buildings.
Whereas
we
I'm kind
should
of more basking in the sun, walking
You
a little
shine
slower.
gloriously, and you have resistance to
You
fire. You're
reflect.
fine.
You reflect off. You're blinding.
He
Your scales
is
are blinding.
actually. So the parts of him that are not covered in armor are very shiny in this bright light.
when it is bright.
Yes, because it does dip. There are moments where the sun shines through brilliantly, and there are other times where a cloud gives you some nice shade, and it's not too bad right now.
And I do imagine that like my armor only goes down to my
We're out in the
elbows 'cause
water.
I'm not wearing gauntlets or anything.
That's for you to decide.
Yeah, that's what like it's like my character art. Like his armor goes as far like, heavy armor goes down to his elbows, and then like just regular boots and whatever padded cloth came with the splint armor for leggings.
Yeah, and I imagine all of you have, with the exception of probably QS, have had to modify your kit at some point to better suit this climate.
Well,
Yeah, like,
QS,
I'm
the
kind of
kid is more
baggier.
pushing off her cleavage a little bit
Yeah.
more.
The more
Because-
you look, the more you guys, that armor does really suit QS.
If you were popular back there, I wonder how popular you'll be here.
We will see. Judging by how well the guide is define the threat to those in the city, I believe that people here in the city will be more reserved.
Well,
And
I don't know,
besides,
if you're
I'm a desert
presenting like
cat.
that, the big cities usually have some extra business, and you're presenting like that. I'm just saying, be careful. Wouldn't want you whippersnappers getting into any trouble.
He's not
No more than you already do, of course.
Because if I do end up in trouble, look for the mushroom crab.
Please no.
Not again.
Please don't.
Mm.
We don't need to end up in another jail cell.
Oh, you've been to jail as well. I knew you were an interesting bunch.
That's what I meant.
But anyway, what could I tell what race it was on top of the wyvern? Or it was just too much armor to tell exactly what type of creature it was.
They
Besides-
were to be either a large tabaxi or a leonin. They had a very broad, muscular figure.
Okay, was
And
a
it's-
cat. Alright. That large cat person flying around on that wyvern, that's quite impressive. Seems to be something going on here in the city. I don't
Potential.
mean,
Which way are you
nobody's-
guys going? Out of curiosity, are you moving, or are you just kind of standing at the bridge? having
Well, I
discussions?
was hoping there might be like some trade stands nearby, so I could legitimately like see
So
if anyone
there
had more
is
ointment.
a market here, and then there's other markets throughout the city. So if you're looking for a market, you got to go towards this island.
I do think we should probably go do a little bit of shopping. That was quite a bit of trouble we got into. When we make our way, where is our destination, anyways?
Do we have
Like-
one?
I mean,
They're looking for the
I'm just here.
druids.
I'm just kind of here. Oh,
Right,
that's
so-
right, the druids. Old age gets to me. Well, seems to be a big town. It could take us a little bit to find them. So we might as well enjoy our time here. Although, as you see on the map, there's like the.
I will say, I'm going to take this moment. So I'm going to do a where we stand on all the different quests, because there's a lot of different things going on right now. So, number one, you've been getting rumors and snippets and pieces of information, both from foes and friends alike, that members of the Order of the Ash, both those loyal to Bermantris, the individual who's taken over it and potentially turned everyone into vampires, and those who are loyal to what the Order used to stand for are present on the island. You've, in fact, directly received reports from the note you found on the smuggling ship mentioning something to that effect, and news from the letter you took off of Susanna that also mentions that
Susanna.
yeah, Susanna, that Ekros' son is here, as well as members of that order, and that those members were hunting the
The
loyalist
best
ones.
part is I literally know none of this.
Yeah, you were here for half of it. Somewhere on the island. The other information you have is that somewhere on the island there is a very old druid circle, known as the First Circle, in fact. Though they are not the first, they are certainly the last standing of the truly ancient ones from before the era. They are stewards of truly ancient knowledge and can perhaps shed some light on the nature of the strange gemstones you found embedded in trees and causing serious problems. As well as perhaps more hints as to what exactly Lotus is, because it's very clear there's more to her than you know. Zill gave you the name of one of his contacts in the city, this you probably forgot, who may be of some assistance in this matter, a gnome named Jorston, who apparently lives with his daughter and granddaughter in the lower city, running an artificer shop. He's described as an odd man, but with a good heart and unmatched mind.
So our city is the city outside the wall. Oh, here.
That's
The
a
lower city is the undercity. It is the... So, okay.
So
One second.
high, it's high, low, and out.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. So the outer city is out the walls, the high city is above the ground, the low city is below the ground.
Where's my text channels?
I mean, either way, I don't know. I don't feel like if I don't remember, Sebastian doesn't remember, and this is your guys' quest. I'm here along for the ride, but Sebastian still does think it would be a decent idea to, because after that whole situation in the jungle and the whole thing with the mushrooms
If
and
you want
not,
to do some shopping, it is not hard to locate a market. You basically just follow the smell.
I feel like we'd have to get our way there anyways. We'll pass by some shops on the way there.
Yep.
Yours does look at, see how things are different here compared to back home in the past. How would we compare and contrast?
You said
It is very different. It is... While there are Tabaxi and Nokas, it is actually... You're a minority population. Here it is like all cats. And one thing in particular for you is... To other races, Tabaxi don't have much of a smell. Tabaxi tend to keep themselves very clean, much like actual house cats. And they don't really have a lot of odor. Humans smell a lot more, for instance. To Tabaxi, however, you can pick up on pheromones and other aspects of its smell, and here it is just... To you, it is the equivalent of walking into a, cat shelter. It is a very strong, almost overpowering smell of thousands of individuals milling about, and it's a little confusing and aggressive with the smell.
I'm about to say, is she able to try and direct us towards somebody? But yeah.
You can direct people as best as you can because you can read the signage. One thing you've realized is that while the local Phelan dialect, so again, there's 3 languages going on here. There's Common, which you know. There's Phelan, which is you know as well as a racial tongue, and it is spoken here in the city, not so much in the jungles. The spoken language here is very heavily accented. It's almost like talking about French from France and French Canadian. Goku can attest. There's a lot of similarities, but people are going to get upset trying to understand each other.
Correct.
When the baguettes
It is
come out.
Yeah, it's almost like a Cajun. It's a very different nature. However, all the signage seems to be written the same. The written language doesn't appear to have changed much, so you can read and get around very easily, actually. And considering very little signage, very little things here are actually written in common, it's a valuable asset.
Okay. Let's go this way.
You also, as you're walking around here, Dwergar and even humans speaking Phelan, which is bizarre sounding to you, because they can't quite make the sound, so it's more of an approximation. It's
So I able to roll the R's.
Spanish, yeah. Phelan has a lot of trills and other like warbling sounds that just really aren't easy for humans to make. And none of them could purr.
Yeah, no, I guess we just kind of head our way into the city then.
That question. Do I also show the what would be classified as the red light district as well? 'Cause that would also have a very peculiar spell.
That would definitely be
Not
like.
from where you are at the moment.
Okay, good.
I think that
He'll
kind
tell
of
you
high
the
rolling
answers.
would be in the upper city.
You know what? You know what? The wind's blowing from the north, so give me a perception check.
Oh no.
Okay.
I would say with disadvantage, but because of the nature. But you're also a cat, so like.
Yeah.
You're not sure. The scent of pussy is on the wind, but you can't quite tell where it's from.
Assume the pussy is on the wind.
It's a city of cats. What can I say?
Also, people gotta be fucking with their hearts.
That's gonna be Goku's quote for the week now, isn't it? Goku routinely takes things I say in session and makes them his status.
Oh god.
The scent of
I
pussy
guess-
is on the wind.
For example, you can't
That's
just
a
roll for
quote
sex
it.
was on there for a while.
Yeah, for a good while.
That's,
Tell that to any fucking bard out there.
You don't have one. You just have a
Exactly.
sorcerer. Look how red he's turning.
I'm gonna roll it.
Well, I'm also red because of the sun.
If I would know how old the city is, and you can message it to me
Okay.
because this is information that the party would not.
Yeah, absolutely. Make your history roll.
Of one.
Never mind. I don't know jack shit about this
It's
place.
still a 10. Remember, it's still a 10. You have a +9 history.
Yeah.
So you're not sure how long this city's been here, but you could have sworn there was another one here at some point. Can't be too sure.
None of this is too familiar to me, so this will be a fun new adventure.
The putty tat.
Let's go this way. I think he's gonna head up the family red
Yeah,
light
the
district. I think. I hope.
Way. How do you know where that? You know what? I'm not even going to continue that question. Just lead the way.
I was saying it would be dangerous. It would be best if we avoided it.
Well,
Also,
well,
the docks are dead, so there's no point in us hanging around here. I was hoping to see some hustle and bustle from the ships.
Yeah, it is interesting. The ships just... None are coming, none are going, none are able to leave. And there's a heavy guard presence along the piers, but we're going to say you're heading towards the market. Well, you can probably head this way.
Yep. I'm guessing we just see it's just kind of... I'm assuming some of those are just like, I don't know, gathering places. Ah, God. Please.
Yeah, there are...
So, we
little
talking about a
places,
temple.
Little corner stores and all sorts of, every sort of business you find within a city, but it is mostly residential. And the buildings here, especially in this part of the city, well, the upper city looks to be more organized. The outer city is very chaotic. A lot of these buildings are, if you remember, I'm going to describe it as, remember on Tatooine, how you have like row of houses, above it, offset row of houses, above it, offset row of houses. It's very much like that, or like the Grey Quarter out of Windhelm in Skyrim, where there's a lot of just chaotic architecture, buildings on top of buildings, none of it's square, all of it kind of just thrown together, very slapdash. Sturdy enough looking, but every inch is being used in a lot of this city. You get the idea that there might be a bit of an overpopulation issue here.
Populations.
No, actually, I'm not quite by rabbit, but by the road.
When in Toyo Kuitla Oyo Tepetal. Doesn't quite roll off the tongue as easily.
There was a front sign saying "Welcome to whatever the fuck this is." It just
Into backseat. Or feeling in.
completely disregarded it. Sebastian tried to read it and just gave up. Just
Yeah, I
teal
don't
pedal.
believe you speak Phelan.
Nope.
Of all the languages you speak, I don't believe.
Nope. I had little interaction with the cat people in my time. I kind of hung out with elves more. Now they've
Is-
just kind of gone off the deep end, but yeah.
Well, the
It's a
hills are
shame.
the only ones that should keep up with your fucking mentally. And even they're like, how the fuck old is this person?
Oh, again, fun stories for another time. Maybe when they're not on their little
Are we
crusade.
sure? Are we sure he's not an elf?
Oh,
His ears are rounded.
I very promise, and I pull my hair
That
back, and you like,
that means
I just
that
wiggle my
means
ears
nothing,
at
old
you
man.
like I would at a toddler.
He has a surprising amount of ear control. He can, you know how some people can raise and lower their ears? He has that.
Having rounded ears means nothing, old man.
Well, have you seen any elves with a glorious beard like mine?
That is a strong argument.
Okay, you have me there.
Elves are known for
Ah,
not growing facial hair at all, after all.
Or if they do, there's patchy up.
Yeah, if
But
they
this
do, they
could-
probably
this
have some
could
human
all be-
lineage.
This
That's
could
because
all
it's
be a magic.
never part. It's because it's part of the
oh,
culture.
believe me, if I could cast magic, I would be having far more fun than this. Sadly, never could take up on it.
Wait, you can't cast magic?
Never could.
Then how did you? You know what? I don't want to know.
Stop asking questions.
It's probably better if I do.
Let's go this way.
He's confusing me more
Yes.
the more I ask.
Yep, we'll head just keep in the section. I guess we'll reach the wall, or at least one of these like the big gatehouses.
Yeah, you trying to head that way. As you go, you see, as you walk near. We'll say you get over here. As you see, the bridge itself is, while it's depicted down the map, it is raised.
Oh,
The gate is completely closed off. There is just a river.
Oh my! I guess we aren't getting into the upper city anytime soon.
Yeah, and from here,
No.
if you kind of look down the wall, you can see the next bridge is also up.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah.
Maybe
Okay,
it
A
has
friend
let's
of
head this way.
yours said we had to head to the lower city, right? And we can talk. We can walk and talk. We're not
Yeah,
stationed.
absolutely. You're on your way.
Yeah.
And yes, you were told that Jorston, Jorston Tembeldemble. And yes, that is his last name because gnomes.
No. Your friend did say we had to get to the lower city, but I
No.
don't.
Not my friend, but our guide's friend.
Oh yes. But either way, I don't know if we'll be able to get through there. The gates seems to be something going wrong. I mean, just as we're walking through the town outside of the port, does everything kind of just look like it's a average? The city's running like average.
It does, in fact, and it's a bit odd because you can definitely tell like the port is shut down, the travel between the upper and the outer city is completely closed, and yet people are just kind of going about their business, and it doesn't look like there's a heavy yard presence. It doesn't look, you're not seeing any signs of illness in the streets. It's peculiar. There's a bit of a disconnect between the measures being taken and the actual mood of the citizenry.
Well, nobody here seems to care about what's happening. So maybe we shouldn't concern ourselves with it too much. But we still need to somehow get to the lower city.
Backtrack to the temple. Hooking around those gardens.
Yeah, if you go
Or-
to you can turn on the labels if you want to, the journal notes. You can click it and it'll pop up and show you all of them. There aren't shops labeled. I have shops ready, but
Oh. Well, let's keep heading towards, I guess, the market, and then maybe.
Yeah,
That
these
temple?
signs seem to show a shopping stall. I can't read them, but I think we need to go this way.
That large tree over there does seem to be some kind of temple, so maybe we should head there after.
It does look auspiciously important.
Might be where we could find the druids.
Maybe. Possibility. All depends.
Oh, I wonder how many of those old coots are still kicking.
I will say that is. There are very large trees in the jungle. Some were larger, but this tree does dominate the cityscape. It is like
It's like the Animal Kingdom tree.
it's like a Kashyyyk tree, just like just a big fucking tree in the middle of town.
Does the
There's a
tree have
couple of
prayers
them.
if we have coins?
Cajitas huevos.
Yeah.
Oh, be careful about the skooma!
I swear I've been swindled by one of these before.
Oh, you probably have a few
They're
times.
crafty. I'd say we reached the market by now.
Mm.
Just walking and talking.
Out of character, but the best part about playing Skyrim as a Khajiit was just the random rings and stuff you find in loot. It's like, oh, cool.
You can find any. The Khajiit can find anything.
Well, the mod Khajiit speak is just fucking beautiful because it rewrites all of the dialogue to
Oh,
be
God.
in the Khajiit like way of talking.
That's what a Khajiit hears every day of their life. Explains
Well,
their
no,
mental state.
only for the player dialogue, obviously, but like this one, you know, Khajiit, you very rarely refer to yourself, and if you do, it's always in third person.
I don't think that a Khajiit just hears all that. They have an internal translator that's all they hear everything like that.
Yeah. What's interesting with the Khajiit is the way that the canon reason they speak like that is because that's the order of the words in their native tongue.
Yeah. Their native speak is cool.
But it's interesting because very rarely can you make a character who speaks in an abnormal way that isn't annoying, and yet Khajiits pull that off and Yoda pull that off, and no one else.
Khajiit has the comedy side, though.
But it adds a layer of exoticism to it.
Yep.
Okay,
Makes it feel
this is one. This is a
Anyway.
shop. This
Yeah, and you do eventually. We'll say you get there. As you get into this part of the city, you do see that there isn't like a big open square as you find in a lot of. My brain wants to say Western, but other
European.
sorts of cities you'd find in more European influence. Here instead there are smaller squares in various places, and there are many street vendors. Many are selling food, many are selling fabrics or other textiles. Seems to be less activity than you might think. There are a lot of like closed booths right now, so to speak. But there are also shops of all sorts lining the hall. So if there's anything you wish to purchase, now is a great time for you to tell me what you're looking to buy. I could pull up a general store and just give you an option to buy if you'd like.
I require more restorative ointment. My hemorrhoid current is running low. I used it in the battle.
Oh no.
Oh no.
It is not going to be the one for this city. It is going to be one for Gurdon, just because I didn't make one for this city specifically.
Anyway, you just want a general purchase table.
Here we go. Taiwan Trade Hall. Share. Show players.
I mean,
that
I
should pop
have
up
I
for
have
this
this thing. I have this thing. Could just trade them in mayonnaise.
thing.
For some
Did that
reason.
pop up for you guys.
Yes.
Yep.
So,
Cool.
Earth
This
is
is
currently
not
closed.
everything. This is just many things. So if there's anything in particular you need, I can add it to here.
Shows that the shop is currently closed to me.
Yep.
It's because the
oh,
time
it's the
is
hours.
currently
Yeah.
incorrect. 1 second. Because the game time is incorrect.
Going to say,
Because
is
it's
it
currently
yeah.
set to be 2 a.m., which is just
Yeah, it's like 2 a.m. It is. No wonder there's nothing going on. It's pitch black.
Here, it's now
What a
noon. Yeah. There you go. Now the shop is open.
All right. We'll just say these are like all the shops around, and we're just kind of
and
walking
obviously
around.
this is a general goods thing, but there's a lot of stuff here. But if there's anything else you need,
Yeah, let's see.
Pocket sand.
A prayer book. That would be funny just for character flavor.
I don't think we need to do any climbing.
I remember you using some rope back when I first met y'all.
but yeah, if there's anything in particular you need, let me add arrows for instance.
What? No, I'm fine. I have plenty.
I know, I'm just adding things.
I'm good on shot too. Yeah, honestly.
Well, darn, they don't have my incredibly rare magical ointment. Who would have thought?
Yeah, your magical ointment is not available at the moment. There's a +1 breastplate.
Who's he what now?
I pressed enter, but I guess it
Oh, I thought that
didn't
said
take
a
the number.
buscus. I was like, fuck yeah. And I was like, oh.
What are you looking for?
I thought I saw an abuscus. I was like, oh, hell yeah. We about to fuck people up with big old buckshot of wallop. Wallop buckshot. Let's go.
No, but there is a blunderbuss somewhere in there.
A
Why is there
pepper.
there's a hand cannon?
Yes,
What does the pepper box do?
it is a
It's a
primitive black powder
six shot.
revolver.
Yes, very.
You
primitive
have one,
weapon.
I believe.
Yes, I do.
No.
Why can I
I
only
do.
buy one bullet at a time?
I don't fucking know.
Okay.
That's unfortunate. It should be sold in units of 10.
The item itself
Yeah,
says
the item
in
itself
units of
is in
10.
units of 10. Yeah, in groups of 10. So try buying one. It should give you 10.
In my inventory.
Because the item itself
A
has 10
single
charges.
lead bullet is 5 gold pieces. Inflation hit this city hard.
Yeah, no. Ammunition for firearms is expensive because here's the thing. It's also including the powder. Because I just wanted
Oh,
one
they get the
piece
little
of
bag.
ammunition.
Yeah, you get
So
your
it's
little
also
baggie.
the powder. And while lead is cheap, powder is not because it's not made in the islands. It is all imported.
Okay, naval action. No. Oh, have we rested since the last fight?
Yes.
Didn't show up in my inventory?
Uh.
There you go, party inventory.
Oh, sorry. I have to accept the trade. I forgot
Oh.
I had to do that. I've done that now.
Shopkeeper.
A hardened pebble
I'd
of
like your
stone,
very
bone, or
best
metal
push.
which can be flung. It's literally just a single bullet.
You bought a sling bullet for 2 silver. Why did you buy
I
a sling
can't-
bullet?
Because I have a sling.
You have a sling? Okay, well that should have been 10 of them, so 1 second. I haven't set the sling bullets that way, because
oh,
I
and
thought you were
2
buying
silver
now I
pieces
can
of sling.
Wait. Okay, now I can buy in larger quantities. There we go.
Okay.
Those 2
There you go.
silver
40
pieces.
bullets.
Yeah.
How much do I have? And I really need to call in that debt he owes me.
Tells you what?
Is this the other one? Or is this
This is. I'm saying this because I see expensive things and I realize that I don't have enough money, but I would if I had that goddamn debt.
So it's that debt. Okay, just making sure.
Said he'd get back to me and.
Yeah. If you wanted to look for an alchemist, you might be able to find your ointment.
Why do I have alchemist fire? When the fuck did this happen?
You probably looted it at some point.
I was gonna say, I think you
Ooh,
looted
got
that
that
off
somebody.
somewhere.
You are the party loot goblin, so like.
I
He
just
just grabs
take what
stuff.
you guys don't, alright? Fuck off.
Yeah, he's the trash boy. He just picks up everything left over. Doesn't matter what it is. If someone doesn't claim it first, whoop.
It can all be sold at some point.
How about you sell some of it now?
No, we're too early in the campaign. We still need the stockpile.
Oh god, we're gonna pull a. I need these potions. Final boss. Shit, I have 700 potions.
I've got a motherfucking frigate to store shit on. I'ma use it.
Yeah. Yeah, I would recommend looking through your shit and seeing what items you have, because I know a lot of you have stuff you just don't use, and it's just because it's floating about.
I have stuff I might potentially use in a fight. Like the ever-smoking bottle. Pure fucking chaos.
It was. Here's the
It
thing.
worked.
It seemed really bad for a moment, and then it worked out really well. So like, it was a good idea.
If my combative.
Oh wait, we were holing around those elephant tusks.
We have elephant tusks?
Yeah, remember? They're in the party inventory. Remember we took those tusks because we thought I said they would be or someone said they would probably be valuable.
Yeah, you can absolutely sell them here. I think you can drag them into the shop, literally. And I can offer you a price.
And these were from a fairly big elephant, right? It was the biggest one of that herd. So these are pretty large tusks, because we went for, the Asian elephant?
Yeah, these are Asian elephants.
Oh god.
They're still tusks.
Yeah, these were like, oh god, what did we
Yeah,
say?
here,
They were
we get-
heavy.
Let me
Would
take
we
care
get a
of
better-
getting rid of them, actually. So yeah,
Would we
you
get a
got
better value if we seeked out a jeweler or an artisan that would use ivory for handles?
there are artisans about. In fact, there are such people here. So
That might
there are.
be.
Yeah, considering you're lugging around 300 pounds of ivory.
Belgoris is the one carrying them.
Let's go find an artist hall and offload that.
Yeah,
they'll be happy. And maybe we can get some information too.
So Belgoris is just like carrying them around, and like some of the
I like to
shopkeepers are
imagine you
looking
made
at
a
us like,
sled
what?
using them as the actual sled part. Like,
Oh,
as
that's
the-
right, yeah. And people are looking at it like, some people are noticing what at the bottom of that sled, and they're like, oh, what? Those tusks.
These guys are fucking ballers.
Yeah, well, that and two of you are in plate armor. Like you guys look like money.
We look like way more money
I'm
than we are.
surprised we haven't been ambushed by a gang of thieves yet. To be honest,
It helps when we were surrounded by a
You look scary.
feral cat tribe.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
I was
look
gonna
really
say,
Like,
scary.
You
We
look
have
like
two
a
two Dragonborn is an intimidating like sight.
two dragonborn, a fucking minotaur, two orcs.
Oh yeah, a Minotaur.
Yeah.
No one would fuck with
Hey,
a group with two
let-
Dragonborns and a Minotaur bodyguard.
Every squad
Do not-
walking through the city.
Do not
No,
forget
like,
that one of these
people
orcs
are
is
ways
carrying
for
around a
you. You are
fucking
an
firearm.
intimidating group. Your least intimidating person is just a cat. Your
that's
second
the one that-
intimidating person has horns still, or rather antlers.
Yeah, not to like shit on the whole least intimidating. Yeah, they look the least intimidating, but then they can throw a fucking fireball. That'll
No one
decimate
wears
a
that
room.
little armor unless they can cast magic.
In this world, looking at this group, where you got old man with a very fancy sword, two dragon plate armor, a minotaur, or a full-blooded orc in chainmail, a half orc in like with a big ass bow and other shit strapped to them, a very obviously fey creature that's just hanging out for some reason. When you see the cat, you go, made. There's nothing else they can be in that group.
Yeah. You see them and they're like, yep, nope, that's the one with the magic.
My sword glows in the
They
dark.
have they have nothing else on them. They have magic. Don't fuck with them. Don't
Again,
touch
nobody in this world wears that little armor unless they could kill you with a look.
And she's, to be fair, wearing armor.
Yeah.
And she's in
So that
fact
makes it even
Very
more scary because it's like,
Very
how does she have to
provocative
take
armor.
on where she needs armor?
them. She's
I'm gonna have
very
to
very
try and make that-
provocative armor.
I'm
at
working
that.
on getting the AI working again, so once I've got that done, I'll see about making some new QS art with the new armor. Don't worry.
Go ahead and
This stuff.
have a Nella.
We were just talking and trading. That's basically the gist of it.
Yeah, the elephant.
On
would
to
definitely
an
be worth
artisan's
something.
hall.
Yeah,
guess
go,
are we
you
still-
do find a jeweler and bringing these two massive tusks to them. You want to sell the dagger of venom?
Yeah, no one really wants to use it, and I don't see any purpose to keeping it any longer.
They will
I
offer
don't use
you.
daggers. Seeing my
That's a
sword,
fi- I
does
accept that
anyone try to
price.
offer
That's the
up
black
shit for
cat.
this? Actually, no. We'd have to go to a magic hall, and then somebody would try to offer up for this sword.
This is their counter offer for the dagger.
What is it?
It'll
Box
do
season.
someone else better than me.
Hey. Shit, I am forgetting Goku's character's name.
Rocks.
That's speed.
Hey, Rox. Aren't you a alcohol aficionado?
I mean,
I've
I
been trying to sell that since like session 2.
Oh,
yeah,
the
I've been
black
trying
cat?
to peddle that bottle for so long.
Okay, you're the one that put it in there. I was like, I saw that and I was like, don't you enjoy alcohol?
I mean, technically, I have Tavern Brawler as a feature, but my character doesn't really drink unless it's cork.
Okay.
I am
Power
gonna take
Bubble
that
is,
grenade
is
though.
Hey, Exile.
Are there grenades on the thing? Because I can add some if there aren't.
No, I don't see any grenades.
No, like we had a grenade in the. I'm just looking in the party inventory right now.
Exile.
Yes.
Explain to me how this makes sense. The longbow has a greater range than the crossbow.
Yeah, that makes
Powerful
sense.
warbow has a
Yeah.
longer accurate range than
So-
your average crossbow.
So the
Crossbows are made for
crossbow.
ease of use. You don't have to teach
Yeah.
somebody how to both string and then knock an arrow. Very hard.
Yeah, the thing is with
yeah.
with a longbow, it takes a decade of training to get proficient with a warbow. With a crossbow, it takes Jim 15 minutes.
Okay.
And a longbow you can get
probably an afternoon for an old school crossbow because they were a bit of a bitch.
But yeah,
They were a bit of a
here's-
bitch, but yeah.
Here's the thing, though. The other advantage is with crossbows, the arrows are actually cheaper for training because you don't even need to fletch training bolts. They're just a stick.
Yeah, and they're also a lot shorter and they're lighter typically.
Yep. And your training ones would not have a metal head, which is actually the expensive part. So you just have a fletched stick with maybe a rock at the end.
Or they wouldn't even use traditional fletching.
Didn't they just dip
Use
the end in lead?
Hmm?
Didn't they just dip the end in a bit of lead just so it could be used again?
That's.
Or is that
I have no
later
idea.
on?
I do not know.
they would make a socket.
Yeah.
But
now-
it's
now
kind of
it's
hard
really
for
more
lead to
like
stick to
Bombada.
wood. It's very hard for lead to stick to wood.
They just put a thin coating or something
a
on it.
prayer book.
That's a
For him?
Wait,
Anyway,
what?
trying to sell the elephant tusks, the ivory.
That's
It is a sizable amount of material. The best I can offer you is 900 per. 1800 total.
Let's know whether he's trying to lowball us or if that's a reasonable offer.
How many times have any of you sold ivory?
0.
Ivory? Yeah.
I can't legally tell you.
That's the correct answer.
That is the correct answer in this day and age, yes, but not in this one.
$92 a kilogram in modern day prices. So I don't know, what is that, 5 gold per kilogram?
That'd be like 10 per kilo. You've got 300 pounds, give or take 90 kilos, 120 kilos or more like.
It's a reasonable offer.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Okay, 1800 it is, and we'll take that off your hands. You could have bartered that up or down, but
I would say maybe one of those, right?
It is fair. So who did the sell? Who? That's 1800 gold. I'm gonna put in party inventory. You guys can figure out how you want to do that.
Do we want to keep that as a reserve for like
yeah.
housing and food and shit?
Yeah, because
That's actually a really good idea.
We don't know what the situation is in this city yet, so we should probably keep that as a
Yeah,
reserve.
so we'll use that for food and tavern lodgings and stuff like that.
Who knows? We may end up having to skedaddle and get the fuck out.
Well, we also might have to buy ammunition for the ship, other things, you know.
Yeah.
Sebastian doesn't see anything interesting, but he does swipe. He swipes this because something about it catches his eye.
Absolutely. What god?
I mean, I don't. You know the answer.
Fair enough.
You do know the answer. That's all you got. That's all you need to know. That's all the party needs to know. But they don't know because I just swiped this. I don't tell them about it.
Fair enough.
And my money is my money. I haven't touched anything out of the party inventory, so I just have the gold I came with. Buy like 80 something gold pieces. There's not a lot of pocket space in this armor.
Old man,
I like
do
your
you
dress.
need any help
Thanks.
with money?
It has pockets.
Well, it's mostly taken up with, and I pull out this little tiny bag, this seemingly empty flask, this jug that has a bunch of weird runes on it. My little ointment bottle.
Is the
Do you,
jug currently
do
full
you
of
want
anything?
to refill your?
No, I
flask?
haven't. I haven't invoked it in a couple days, so it would have been empty.
I'm surprised you haven't refilled your flask at a tavern, old man.
Oh, I don't need to with this one.
Are you gonna use it now?
Yeah, I'm gonna pull a party trick, and I'm going to use it to produce. Actually, I'll ask him. I'll ask the Dragonborn. Hey, Golden Boy, what do you have a particular type of alcohol you like?
Oh, I drink everything, but I got a hankering for some brandy right now.
I'll count that into one.
Yeah, we'll see. Well,
Still one.
well then, do you have a cup?
I pull out. I think I do, don't I? I have a canteen.
Everyone does. Before
Yeah,
I do this, I assume it's empty.
Yes.
All right, and I'm going to tip the jug over, and I'm going to have it produce 1 gallon of wine, and just starts wine, and from this point it'll be brandy, and
Oh,
brandy
wow.
just starts pouring into your canteen, just from this jug. I just pulled out of my pocket.
We'll say you get a half gallon of brandy.
Yeah, half gallon of brandy.
I added it to the description.
Well, thank you.
That's a
Quite
Yes.
the
trick you got there.
It's quite useful.
Very. I had to use it before to. It's quite.
Oh, I've been at a few negotiations before battles where that would have loosened some tongues, that's for sure.
Well, it can. Brandy's not the only thing it can make. It can come in quite handy. I know that it can, and I know it can produce other things.
A mischievous smile appears across Torin's lips. I think I'm getting what you're saying.
Yeah. Oh yeah, a sloshing sound can be heard from within the jug when it's shaken, even if it appears to you empty.
So it's a gravel jug. Is it?
Sort of. You know, when it's a magical jug, you know, can do fun stuff. It's also worth quite a bit of money. But no sharp owner would see it.
Now, turning to the shop owner, what going ons are happening in the city?
Well, the
Yeah,
obvious. Besides the obvious of the refugee crisis and a plague spreading down in the camps?
Yes, I'm wondering if there's any side work or if you've heard any other rumors.
Plague.
Yes, there's some refugees from Dolos arrived about a week ago now. The city, we have a policy of letting refugees in. After all, that's where the Dwegar came from in the first place.
Mm.
They are currently housed on some of the disused agricultural islands in the south side. However, not long after they arrived, disease started to spread. Virulent disease. Right now, the city is largely shut down. They're not allowing the wealthier classes up in the north, in the upper city, do not want risk, and of course, the dwarves in the lower city are beholden to that because they cannot get out elsewhere. There's only one entrance to their town. So we are all stuck here in the outer city, hoping that the plague does not leave the camp. And no one can get in or out, really, besides on land. The port is closed. They haven't even let the ships leave.
How long have the ships been here?
The longest? Close to a month now. It's
And
been...
did they all come on the trade junks, the refugees?
Yes, those are their ships.
Ah,
If you can call them that, they are falling to pieces.
well,
Last I heard, they're slowly being disassembled for firewood. Because they're not letting the refugees go into the jungle to scavenge. After all, they could be spreading disease.
how unfortunate.
Holy Order arrived recently has been trying to make sense of the situation.
Oh,
Which one do you say?
Ilmatari.
interesting. Surprising they'd have interests way out here.
Well, we have a local temple, though our high priest died of the plague. And his associates, the understudy, died of the plague. There are some issues.
And
Would appear that way. Have you heard anything called a first circle?
Hang on. I'm selling. I have to go through these trades for 1 second. Garrett, want to buy a grappling hook?
What
Grappling
about
hook.
You didn't have to say it.
What's wrong
Whatever.
with that? It's public. Oh, it's not
That's
public.
fair.
It's actually not public.
You motherfucker.
I have. Are you referring to those druids that live to the west somewhere?
you? Yes.
I heard of them before, but most people don't put much stock in them even being around. It's kind of old folklore, you know.
Ah,
I wouldn't be the one to ask.
that's fair. Well,
What is your
Uh,
business in this city besides selling me ivory, after all? You're clearly not from here.
no, I am from Naragesh. Narakesh, sorry.
This guy
I'm
would
like,
know
oh
the
my word.
difference.
We have a mixed party, and we were hired by an individual to investigate a few things.
Are you? You have to investigate the plague?
No. It does not seem to pertain to our interests.
Fair enough.
but we will look into it if it is concerning in terms of how it began.
What's
Yes.
concerning is if it spreads. The city is.
Have they done anything to the bodies of the deceased? I assume burning.
I do not know. Normally, cremation is. He kind of gives you kind of an odd look, like you're not from here.
No.
Sorry, I would assumed you would be more. I do not know how the way the cats from afar live, but we do not do cremations to our own dead. I do not know their funerary rituals. Um, Normally, in times of plague, it'd be a mass grave rather than cremation.
Mm.
I don't think that. It's possible they're not burying them at all right now.
Oh,
So the
they might
plague could
Now that
be.
you mention it, does sound like a problem. But
Yes.
I'm
Well,
hopeful.
mass graves have to be deep, or they just end up fermenting.
Yes, and I'm just hopeful that we have enough problems in the city without thousands of outsiders arriving and taking up desperately needed land. I feel for them. I do not want harm to come to them. But I want. There are people in the city who would rather see them all die of this infection and no longer be seen as a problem. Can't say I agree with that, but it'd be hard to find homes for them all.
People look for the easy solutions to hard problems.
And easy can be cool.
Easy does not mean right.
Yes, but in any event, if your business takes you into the lower city or the upper city, you're likely to have to wait. Traffic is completely closed off, only goods are going through handoffs at the North Bridge. Otherwise, they're only letting very specific individuals through. You would need to get permission from the guard.
Ah, that's fair.
And the lower city council.
Well, thank you. Hope you have an excellent day.
You as well. Stay safe out there.
Thank you.
Just leave them with.
Turn to depart, and I guess I check the reference for any guard outposts, because clearly we got to do some work for the guard to get where we're going.
The idea you're getting the idea that the city is currently very locked up, as is not surprising. Trying to get your way in, there's probably a legitimate way. There's probably a way to do with figuring out what the fuck this plague is and finding a solution to it. And there might be a less legitimate way.
Either way, if the gods like us, it's easier.
be for the group to decide how you wish to act.
Sebastian doesn't really have one way or the other, although. I mean. Oh no, there's something. What was my.
Why don't we take all
They
the
put
plague-ridden
waffle
people and move them over there?
We take all the plague and push it somewhere else.
All right, somebody
Exactly.
build a trebuchet and start launching bodies.
So wait, you're gonna lay siege to the upper city to get them to open their walls?
It's gonna toss plague bodies. Oh, we're gonna start a riot.
Plague-ridden corpse.
We're gonna start an
Jesus.
uprising. The outer city is
Now
gonna start an
this is the
uprising against
murder
the upper
hobos I
city.
did
You
not
have,
expect.
you have the military officer for his ways of doing things. The legal way, work with the local guard. The illegal way, fuck it, we're knocking this bitch down.
We're
Sebastian
here to
would
talk
prefer
to
though
our
not to
compact. Smash.
not interact with
I,
too unsavory
I took
person.
care of preparations for the illegal way. Don't worry about that.
Oh, is that why you picked up that tool?
We don't talk about that out loud.
Oh, I've seen those in use before. They're pretty neat, but hard to use.
They're wonderful for climbing trees. In rare cases.
Hey, DM, I have a question. Does lesser restoration count for the plague?
You don't know. Maybe.
Just go around
swear
like
to fuck. I swear to fuck. If you Kingdom Come Deliverance this plague, I'm gonna lose
Oh.
my shit.
Ah, you do have a point, young man. Perhaps we should head to a healing house. If this is a normal plague, then they should have taken care of this with some magics.
well, they'd have a better idea of what we can do to
Somewhat
help.
better in the sense that in this world, while plagues do still occur, in places where holy orders are able to arrive in mass, medicine's pretty advanced. They almost have germ theory. Give it another 50 years and they'll have germ theory.
Ah.
And there's quite a
Ace
few
Captain
handful of temples.
Yeah, I was about to say that one. As we would enter, I saw a large one to the south as we entered. It looked almost like Sorcerer Sundries.
That's-
You did see a lot of activity going on at the very southern end of the port near the refugee camp. You saw people in robes. That's all you know.
Could have been clerics.
They did say a holy order had showed up. But
Well, I could go over
also-
there and take a look. I mean, my abundant look easier than you, even though I'm wearing.
On the other
Whoa.
What?
do remember who else is supposed to be in this city already.
True. Speaking of which, it was my bad. Just so you.
Yes, it's probably best if you want to try and sneak over there and see.
Well,
Are you gonna sneak over there or are you gonna head as a group?
We should head closer as a group, and then.
I mean,
From
if things
there-
look weird, you could try to sneak in. But I don't see any reason to try to sneak around right now.
So are you
Yeah.
trying to sneak into the refugee camp?
We're trying to get closer.
I think we're just gonna go see what's going on over there.
You can
Yeah.
definitely go. So, the refugee camp's border. I'm gonna draw. Like
Yay.
you can go. The refugee camp is like defined by this. So like you can't go in there, but you can go anywhere else.
So we can head to the bridge and kind of see what's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah. you
There's a
can go
quarantine border.
Yes.
Can I fly over? Can I fly over the area?
Please don't try and fly in the city. I don't think it's going to go well.
You've seen it before.
There was a catman on a wyvern. I do not want to start a flight with him.
I will say, well, that's the only one you've seen land. You've also seen others circling.
We don't know the level at which they want to fuck around.
Anti-cat air systems.
I'm gonna break character for a second. I was literally like almost asleep one day and just shot out of bed like Tabaxi Wyvern Riders. Like it was just an idea that came to me right before I fell asleep one day.
That's riding dragons. It's so
That's
cool.
these are the discount get Yankee Dragon Riders.
Pretty much. They're way less evil.
Yeah, I was about to say they're probably not as fucking
Really
horrid.
think Yankee are broadly speaking lawful evil. These guys are lawful good. So
I'm going.
The one type
yeah,
of
we
race
could-
you will not see is
we
against
could head
Yankee, and
to-
if you do, you should be fearful.
We could head to a temple that's close to the
Get a pair
place
right
and
here.
see what they know.
Yeah, like that lodge building that looked like Sorcerer Sundries.
Is that like a school that you went to in younger years?
Oh no! It's
I
this
don't think that he's a
wonderful
young.
place of magic.
I don't think there was a younger
I tried
years for
going
him.
there to learn something, and nothing panned out. But it was worth the effort.
I tried going there to learn something, and all that happened was I got 3 people pregnant and got driven out of town.
Good.
He did what?
These are stories for another day.
Dude, this dude's
That's not
fraternity must have been
canon.
going off.
Those were dudes fraternity burned out because they shoved a bench into the fireplace.
It's great.
That's an actual story that happened to my dad's fraternity after he graduated. They burned down the fraternity house by shoving a couch in the fireplace.
Jesus
Oh my god.
Well, yo, liquor.
They
Yo,
didn't
liquor.
burn down the couch first, so the fire, of course, followed the couch out of the fireplace.
Of course. My goodness.
Okay,
Fucking
we
boycott
had
students
we
who are
had we
forced
had to
gangster.
this we had to this whatever temple. It had big
Yep.
blue tops. Is why I said it looked like Sorcerer Sundries.
That's a palace.
That's a palace.
We'll head
It's
to
called
the
a
temple.
palace, but it is in fact a temple, I will say.
Oh, it is?
Yes, naming is specific. I had to look up gods. Someone's
Yeah, the
smoking
palace.
a fuckload of weed outside.
How do you turn those? How do you turn those things on?
Hey man,
I
can't
the
turn
little,
it
the
off.
little
Maybe
banner
some-
on the left side.
the little banner.
It looks like
Oh
a
my-
bookmark.
So many goddamn things. Oh, there we go. Okay.
It's under the pencil.
Yeah, there we go.
Xochiquetzal.
Oh, well, yeah, that's
Quetzal.
Quetzal.
Yeah. Because so an X and then the O like that is Sho Chi
Yeah.
Quetzal.
Yeah, this is some like pretty rip-off derivative. Like,
That's actually a real Aztec god.
I was gonna say it sounds Aztec.
Is it?
You
It's
can tell
written
that
on the
that's
top.
what they're based on. Yeah, the temples
Oh,
around
I-
here seem to be just kind of going about their affairs as normal. This complicated mess of buildings over at the end, however, as you kind of round a corner, seems to have a lot of activity going on.
Hmm.
Looking at the from here, you do get a. We'll say you get over here. You do get a good view of the refugee camps in question. They're currently spread over 3 islands in the southern end of the city. The 2 bridges that lead to the rest of the city are partially barricaded, with a seemingly excessive number of guards assigned to each. Just beyond the camp perimeter, or in the area you are now, there's a large mud brick building that's been converted into a hospital of sorts. The windows are all open, but no amount of air can hide the scent of death and detritus that permeates this place. Peeking behind the building, you see a growing pile of bodies has been assembled, each wrapped in a simple burlap cloth, and from the number of flies, you can see it doesn't appear that anyone's in any hurry to bury them.
How close to the
that's
water
rather-
are they?
The bodies,
Yeah.
right next to it.
Ooh, that's a
I hit it with an alchemist fire.
No.
That's probably an unwise decision. There are guards watching your group. Like, who the fuck are these people? As you say that.
Walking up and you just, I'm going to commit arson.
You just pull out an
You're-
alchemist flask and yeet it over the wall.
Your
As a
gosh,
sign
you
of service. As you're standing there, however, you
this is really concerned. Yeah. As if this is plague, is getting into the wall.
you there, priest of Odin. I need a word.
I'm here.
You
Huh?
walk around. You see a tabaxi woman of here. Let me actually. I have image.
Oh, an
Does that work?
image.
Nothing selected.
Pictures.
I like pictures.
You see a tabaxi woman of average height, aka taller than QS, but like maybe 5'8". Her eyes are yellow and intense, though bloodshot and tired, which I can't show in the picture, but just imagine neither of them.
Yeah, I don't have a picture.
Her
I was gonna
what?
say it's not loading.
It just says the plague. It just says the plague. You want a screenshot?
No, I understand, but if it's not loading, 1 second, I can give you the picture.
Okay.
But in the
That's what I'm about to do. I'm going and grabbing it. Where is it?
You know what? Like,
Las
There
plagas.
she is. The cat.
what's this? Where do they put this?
I put it in the channel chat.
What CR is this creature?
Her eyes are tight, though bloodshot and tired. Her patterning is like that of a cheetah, with the underside of her head and the front of her neck white, while the rest of her is a sandy color with darker spots and stripes that ring her features. She's wearing a very lightweight, almost sheer gray shirt with like short sleeves that have been rolled up even further about her, which drapes about her loosely, with a long skirt of a thicker but still gray fabric which hangs from her hips and drapes all the way down to her ankles. Her hands are bare at the moment, but long red-dyed leather thongs wrap up her arms, ending just before the elbow on both sides. Atop this outfit, she wears a heavy oilcloth apron that is tied behind her and thickly stained with blood. Atop her shoulders, she wears a gray cloth mantle with a red border, pinned to one and pinned to her by at the shoulder. You see a silver holy symbol depicting a pair of hands bound in red cord. As she approaches you. You are priest of Odin?
That I am.
I have dozens of patients to care for, and few are going to be surviving. I need a cleric familiar with the culture in order to deliver the last rites. Can you help me?
Gladly, I'd love to help my people.
Come. And she literally grabs your hand and drags you into the building. And as you,
Whee!
the rest of you just, what are you doing?
We
Uh,
Kiras
I'm
is
trying to
gonna.
follow her.
I'm gonna
Yes.
follow.
I-
Yeah.
That's our party member.
I'm not going in there. I know better than to go near plague.
I don't have many years left, anyways. No point in ruffling about it.
Also, no evidence that you can even get sick at this point. So, like, who knows?
You've also had
I have my ointment.
If the gout hasn't killed him by now, nothing will.
At my apparent age, that fall that I did the first time that we were leaving that whatever museum shit should have killed me.
But remember, you have the body of an old man, or rather, you have the external experience of an old man, but your body is still in its 30s.
Why I can wield this great sword, but I'm
Yeah,
still just
like,
walking around with a
he-
incredibly powerful weapon.
He does not appear to have any like lingering pain or mobility issues you'd associate with the elderly. He moves about like a young man. He just looks old and wrinkled.
Talks about it like he does.
Well, he is old, you think?
I don't know.
he's as old as dirt, supposedly.
Yeah, but anyway, as this tabaxi woman leads you inside, you come into a building and the scent of just filth assails you. The room is maybe 40 feet wide and like 80 feet long. It is what looked to have been like a trade hall or a small warehouse, and it is lined with cots. On the sides, they're actually double or even triple stacked up, like bunk beds, but like janky, inky. Each of which has a patient, and there seems to be maybe 7 other people dressed as this as the tabaxi that brought you in here. And here, they are very understaffed. And most of these patients seem to be in very poor condition. Many are, well, we'll get there. These ones, yeah. She directs you towards the far back, like right corner of the room. Our martyred fathers cares not for the faith of those he helps, but their own gods will want to know they are properly cared for in the end. If you would please address these ones to start with, and then I would ask that you teach some of my acolytes the appropriate blessings, so that, well, we can continue this process when you're not available. It would also be wonderful if you might speak to some of the families of those who have lost it.
I can try my best to keep things going forward.
Good. Neil Mataya will thank you.
Of course. And I'm
All
just
of you,
gonna.
what are you doing here?
You
Exactly.
literally dragged a friend and brought him in there.
I understand. Sorry, Manus. It has been a very tumultuous couple of weeks. I am Honey of Hornets, cleric of the Mater. Once from the city, recently came home to a plague spreading.
So what caused this? Was it brought with the refugees, or
No. They would have been sick on the ships that they only got sick once they arrived.
So
what else do
something.
you
That's
know about
interesting
it?
indeed.
Let us go outside to speak. We do not do this in front of patients, much less when you are all risk of exposure. Go! She kind of like half pushes you out of the building. Your friend will be fine. We have the resources to cure a limited number, and I don't think orcs can catch it. It seems to mostly affect humans and elves. But it also gets to the dwarves, gets to everyone eventually. It also has got into Tabaxi.
And yeah, they've left you inside, by the way, Rox.
Oh no, I'm typing role player. No worries.
Okay, you okay.
Remenas. I am Honey of Hornets. I am a cleric of Amata. I came here, well, with some of my brothers and sisters. I was not meant to be in charge of this situation. However, everyone superior to me has died so far, and thus I am currently the head priestess of my faith in these islands, which is not a situation I wanted.
And looking at her, she's definitely older. Like comparing it to you, QF, she's older, but she's still young.
So she's like maybe 6 years older.
Maybe 7 or 8. She might be pushing 30. Which is very much not old enough to be the head priestess of
The
anything.
high priestess of anything.
Yeah.
Yes, you seem quite young to be in charge of a holy order. I've never seen
not
one as young
supposed
as
to be.
you.
Both of...
Yeah, I'm trying to make dialogue.
The two individuals who were higher ranked than me, the local head priestess, their acolytes, sorry, there are 4 people, and my head priest who was leading our expedition have all passed away from this disease. They were killed on the first day. It struck them with unnatural power. And that is the strange thing about this. It is not a normal disease. This plague is unlike anything I have ever dealt with. It strikes fast and with unnatural vigor. It strikes down the young and strong at the same speed as the old and weak. It does not respond to typical treatments, and only powerful magic seems to be able to stop it outright once the infection takes hold. Preventative magic does work, but limited in scope. We can only protect ourselves, and I will take care of your friend, and I guess now all of you, for getting yourselves exposed, I will need to deal with as well. We have the resources for it, but please do not take unnecessary risk. We ran out of diamond powder the first day. The city mines gemstones, but even they cannot hope to produce enough to cure everyone, especially if this plague escapes the camp.
And from that, Roxby, you would be the only one who knows, and you're not here, so whatever. But those of you out of character know that if you need diamonds to cure it, we're talking about powerful magic.
Yes.
This honestly reminds me of the fucking fight I sat through Egypt. That like me.
And Roxby, you find
Oh
yourself...
yeah, that one. That plague, yes.
I want to...
That was out of character though.
Yeah, no, he doesn't care. He knows about
Like
Egypt.
it's
Oh, that's
it's
valid.
just like Sebastian's like, what the? I just look over at him like, what the fuck?
Sebastian's actually just a planeswalker who's been to Earth, of all places. Like, I don't know.
What?
New
What
lore
is this
unlocked.
Egypt you speak of?
Yeah, no Egypt.
Oh wait, no. Yeah, I suppose none of you would have been there. My bad. Please continue.
Agitar is a place. Agitar is a place. That is the closest to Egypt. I'm currently finishing up the map for Ankaria, and that is in southwestern Ankaria. Agitar is a city. It is not in a desert. It is in a forest. But Roxby, as you're in there, you are kind of the locus of attention of this group. The less sick are gravitating towards you, sitting up in their beds, paying attention. You get the impression that, as with many people, when illness or disease or other forms of suffering arrive, faith is a great boon. And the way they all look at you with reverence is very unlike what you felt before. Back home, you were just another member of the temple staff. Sure, your father was the head priest, and you were expected to take his role at some point, but you were just another person at the church, another member of the clergy. Here, you are all they have, and they are gathered about you, looking to you for guidance, for hope, for reassurance. They've watched as people have succumbed in this room, person after person, and they all suspect they're next. Any reassurance, any comfort you can provide them is something they're eager for. And for the first time in your life, you find that your faith is not just something you define yourself by, not something that is just a thing you do as part of life, but is your purpose. As you find yourself the rock for these people in this troubling time.
Oh shit.
Rim
Here we
shot.
go again.
Rim shot. I like the pun. I really like that. It was good. I'm their rock. That's good. That's really good storytelling there. I
do
like
that
that.
intentionally. Woo!
But you did. But it
I
was so
know.
good.
Yeah, and then the aw shit in the background, like fuck.
So good.
God,
This is gonna
that
make
background,
a
all I can think in my brain because of the sound effects is
That's right. I'm going to fuck the fear turkey.
No. Not this again.
oh, you don't want to do this for other card.
Not in this location.
But anyway, going back to what we were talking about outside. This plague is unlike any of I read that part.
Mm.
The infection moves too quickly. It is not a normal plague. All of the symptoms are common from other diseases. On the first day, patients get high fever, severe joint pain, burning sensation across the chest. The fever is just as hot and arrives just as fast as that of malaria. But on the second day, the patient will have lost the ability to see, and their hearing will be gone in another day or later in the evening if they're unlucky. The fever reduces but does not go away, and the skin begins to turn black, rot setting in at the neck and moving down. The brain becomes affected, and the patients, unable to see or hear and in agonizing pain, will eventually turn violent and chaotic, often trying to claw off their own skin or that of those restraining them. These are patients we have all sedated. Thankfully, we are not out of that medication.
It sounds like the rumors of what happened to the fourth.
Maybe.
Never
Third day of
saw anything
infection.
myself, but a couple survivors of a full regiment
Have you
wiped out
seen
by a
this?
mysterious plague.
You've seen such a thing before? Where? When?
Near Kesh, 20 years ago. An entire regiment went on an expedition and was wiped out before they could reach an objective.
Unnatural
And then all of a
plague.
sudden, it
ever
was
figure out what's
just
caused
hush
it?
hush. No, it was all hush hush in the courts.
Curious.
I was just a sergeant at the time. I only heard rumors.
Good to know. Keep in mind. If you can see her brain just processing this, like you can see just in her head how she's trying to put pieces together, like where could this come from? And you get the impression like new note for
I didn't mean to interrupt you.
is a canon event. What?
I didn't mean to interrupt you. Sorry.
No, that's good. That's good. I like that. And it's true. Third day of infection, the patient begins to bleed profusely from every orifice, the broken dying skin, and their eyes. Which I don't consider an orifice, but I guess they technically are. Besides the point, death soon follows from blood loss. As I said, none of these symptoms are unique to the islands, but never do they come from the same disease. Fever from malaria, loss of sense from liver blindness, skin rot from general infection, bleeding from the red blight.
Water makes them thirstier.
They are losing a lot of fluids. The thirst is potentially just a side effect. I don't think it is a direct symptom.
I suspect the plague is not of natural origin, but the local government does not allow me to investigate this or even meet with them anymore. They've locked themselves off. And they're withholding our supplies. We had a ship sent in from Gerdan with all of the goods we need to keep this plague under control. It is held up in dock and they will not allow it to unload. They will not allow us to take the supplies off.
And who's in charge of the guard there?
I do not know their name. I do not know. Supplies are becoming scarce. They're going to run out soon. All of those goods are needed urgently. Without them, I won't even be able to protect my own staff much longer. And at which point, we will die as fast as the others. And this plague will overrun its borders quickly. The whole city might be affected. So far, less than 1 in 20 adults seems to survive. Children have a higher rate. About 1 in 3 seems to make it. Everyone else is killed quickly.
Yes.
Hmm.
May I recall if there was any type of disease that's
roll?
Does the territory would have shoved as much fucking information in her?
There were absolutely records there. And you would know that abnormal plagues causing great distress, causing great suffering, have been reported and seem to crop up in areas of turmoil. Sometimes they have natural causes. Sometimes they very much are just a virulent plague of local nature that spreads to a whole bunch of new people who arrive who are unprepared, or from new people who arrive in a new place. Travel seems to bring them about, but this is different. This brings about very specific references. Specific times. For example, if you remember way back, I mentioned how a vampire once ruled over the empire in Aleros. Such plagues preceded his fall from power. Unnatural, exceptionally lethal, rapidly moving, and that killed without logic, taking down the strong and the weak equally. In all of those cases, though, it was not a natural plague. It was manufactured, created.
And there is one group that we know is here that could potentially do that.
Well, we think is here. We haven't seen them.
The other thing about
Well-
those plagues,
We said we saw white robes.
these are
in
the
the
people in
camp.
white. These are the ones in the robes.
Okay.
You're talking to one of them.
Okay.
Suffice to say,
We need to look for a
Making-
different. We need to get us moves off and start doing a little bit of investigation.
Okay.
He is going to go to a library.
Unfortunately, and I hate to tell you this now, the city library is in the upper city.
God
damn it. I can even tell you that it is this building.
All right. So we gotta. Where's the fast skip button to the quet?
Okay, he's really gonna go to the fucking. He's
You
really going
start
to the
hearing
fucking.
NPC like generic dialogue. Man, I hope this plague doesn't get out of hand.
After this, she's gonna go to the fucking. Wander to fucking
As
temples.
you go to leave, Honey of Horns is like, hey, stop, please. You've been exposed, we have to keep you clean. I don't care if you leave, just wait. Once I've ensured that you're all immune for at least a day, do what you will. But honestly, I need help here. Your friend is already going to be a good help spiritually, but I need eyes and ears who can actually help me cut through this bureaucracy, or just figure out where the fuck this is coming from.
Well, you're the high priestess now. Who do you know is in contact? There's got to be something you can get us help started with this.
It's going to be
Clearly, this is not natural.
The source has to be somewhere within the camp. Otherwise, we'd be getting cases all throughout the city by now.
The camp was isolated the first day it arrived. These islands are artificial.
Is
But-
Baldarsh with us? And does
Yes.
he have it? Is he showing any of his heraldry of his warrior?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes.
So,
She does not recognize it, or does not seem to note any recognition.
okay,
She doesn't
so
even identify him as a holy man.
okay, so that angle to questioning is out. Is out.
So, in summary, this plague does spread person to person, but only on the second and third day. It doesn't spread through the air, it spreads through fluid contact, primarily. So I didn't want
So
you in there.
food, saliva, piss.
Yes, sort of thing. Mostly blood, which is disturbing. There's a
Well,
lot of
wouldn't
blood.
you have a problem with that stack of bodies next to the river then? Human
I
bodies
know.
don't
I've been
exactly.
trying to get the city to let me burn them for 5... Well, not 5 days. 5 days I've been screaming at the guards to let me burn them. They do, and they never answer. Ever since we got here, we've been trying to get rid of them, but the city insists they're too dangerous to move, and I won't even let me bury them in the camp, so now they are just stuck here.
What kind of morons are running this city?
Politicians.
I think
They're
I
worried
know
about
where
their
our
next...
friend's son is.
Uh,
That little fucking bastard is probably in the upper city.
I'm not sure who you're talking about, but if they're involved in this, I want to kill them.
So do we.
Honestly, we wouldn't put it past them.
but
I'm
also,
not saying for sure, but yeah, not nice people.
Look, I have not had the time to do tracing, to figure out where these people are getting infected, but the interesting thing is it is not hitting everyone in the camp. If it was a virulent spreading disease, everyone would be sick by now, but instead it hits a person here, a group of people here, another couple here, all over the place in the camp, at random seemingly.
Are these people related? Do they have the same trade?
Sometimes it will hit the family, other times no.
Do
It
they do the
seems
same
random.
work? Or did they come on the same ship? Like what the?
I am not sure. Again, I have not had time to do the tracing, that is why I am asking for your help.
Where's the? Do you have a list of the dead, and how they came?
It's a growing list, but I can get it for you by evening.
that'd be much appreciated. We have a few ideas of what it could be, and I also have another idea, but it's a long shot at best.
I would
All of this screams to me is some evil sorcerer doing some stupid shit, and we're going to have to kill another one.
Another
Mm.
one. You make a habit of killing evil sorcerers.
Unfortunately,
It wouldn't
yes.
it wouldn't be too far off. I've seen them honest.
They're getting quite annoying, honestly.
I like you people. I think we're going to get along just fine.
If it's
Well,
Now
not the
noticing a
sorcerer,
mapping error.
if it's not the sorcerer, I think it's along the other lines, but I don't want to say that one out loud.
Oh, nobody does.
I will say, you're all kind of huddled in a corner right now, and the citizenry
It's
that
all
is
low
using the screen is giving
whispers,
you
yeah.
a wide berth. You're right outside a hospital, and all the citizenry is like, nope, you're going near there.
Basically, all of the fucking adventurers are talking to a
Talking to a
Garage
woman
doesn't.
covered in blood next to the plague hospital. No one wants anything to do with that.
Garage doesn't want to say it even to the doctor slash priest because it involves Balgoris.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, that it was one of those like.
Yeah.
Quiet, old man.
Okay. If
Oh,
you
it's not
could
like
help-
anyone would believe you.
Firstly, will you help us?
Of course.
Yes.
yes.
Because frankly, we're going to
Eh,
need your
why
help
not?
afterwards.
I will help you as much as I can. First things first, I can get you into the refugee camp. I can simply say you are working with me, and that is the truth. The guards are at least... They're getting their orders from higher up. Most of the actual guards on duty seem to be more interested in helping than hindering at
this stage, which is good. We need that.
Do the gods have a place they like to drink? Like, can be loose. I notice men can be quite loose-lipped if you're friendly.
They can be loose in a lot of ways when they're drinking.
Hey, tell me about it.
Where is this ship that has the supplies?
The ship that
You
has
said
the
it's in the
supplies
port.
is up in the port. It's actually like this ship right here.
Okay.
Yes. It's sitting there up in the port. What is his name?
Have any of
Mira
those crews ever that are still on ships had similar
No,
affections? No.
no, it has not left the camp yet. Save for this hospital, it has not left the camp. Mira Rain is the portmaster, or at least the one I had spoken to before. Black Tabaxi, male. He... I get the impression he is not always above board. Perhaps you can find a way to convince him to help us less officially. I don't care how it happens, I need those supplies.
There's always a way when it comes to portmasters.
Otherwise, he's getting his orders from the guard captain of this district, which is Breaking Storm. Leonid fellow, albino.
Hmm.
He also
Interesting.
seems relatively supportive, but he gets his orders from the council.
Then the chancellor
don't-
being a bunch of deaths.
The council being a bunch of politicians trying to do things that are politically expedient for them rather than actually helpful.
Ah, yes, that old trope. Where does this albino, the Stormbreaker, hang out?
Breaking Storm, I do not know where he is at this time. He's probably in the local guard barracks. I don't even know where that is. You're going to have to ask around. Again, I was born on the northern side of this island. I left home at 7. I came back 4 weeks ago, right into this.
Oh, that's fair.
If you could get to him, convince him to release the goods, that would be great. If you could convince the harbor master to release the goods by whatever means, I don't care. Yeah, figure it out. That's great. If you can convince the council to give us more assistance, that would be ideal. But just as important as that, I need you going into the camp. I can, again, ensure that you will not get infected. You'll have to see me once a day, but I can give you 24 hours of guaranteed immunity. That's what we are using to keep safe, and those of us who have been under the spell have not yet gotten sick. And we are working directly with them, so I trust this will work. But I need you to go in there, figure out where this infection is coming from. If it is a single source, if there is an individual spreading it, I don't know the details, but they
Are there
need to be
any
stopped.
rumors about these artificial islands? Do they have any mystical background rumors? Something that crazy person might investigate and use?
I have no
I-
idea. The islands are these ones, like the one we are on are old. These were built centuries ago. The ones across the river are somewhat newer, and they're building more further up the shore of the lake.
Uh,
It takes a while for them to form.
yes.
This island has some measure of plumbing, some measure of underground tunnel. A little bit on the North Island as well, of the 3 in the camp. But they are islands. It's
Yes.
possible wherever the source is, it is underwater?
Well, that's always a common distributor. That's, the one thing everybody would be drinking. Other than that, there would be the food.
Yes, the
But
only blessing
again,
is
that
the
would be
water flows
everyone.
from the
You're
north.
saying that would be everyone would be getting infected. But like you're
Yeah.
saying, this is random groups, which leads me to believe it's somewhat targeted.
I know. Again, it is bizarre.
Well, we're going to have to talk to the people that knew the dead. That's for sure.
Roxby, people are very confused by the hammer, but they seem to be praying to it as a holy symbol, so.
Yay!
Magic sim, magic king.
Mm.
The holy hammer.
Holy Milwaukee hammer. It's it's not Mjolnir, it's not some holy symbol, it's Milwaukee, and they're
It's
like,
beautiful.
okay. The priest is doing it. Why
It's
not?
Crimson Red Hammer runs red with the blood of the heretics.
More like the blood
It's-
of the plague victims at this point.
It's
My
milled
hammer's
steel
just
head,
trying to fix the place.
perfectly carved in the image of their god. Perfection in all ways.
On that note, I need to get to bed, so I'm going to call the session here.
Damn. Okie dokie.
I know it feels
Well, plot
early. I
drop.
know there's a lot we could get into, but we will get back to it next week.
Is that, I
Plot
have
drop.
I have 3 different fucking theories rolling now.
The, like all things in the universe, they all must come to an end. And so too must this voice.
But anywho, I'm just Longshot, signing off.